Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it's Paydirt battle time again. And I recently did a review on RJ's Paydirt and noticed that they had a bag of Pirate's Treasure with a guaranteed 1/4 gram of gold. And I figured why not get one of my secret shoppers to pick up a bag and then have another secret shopper pick up a bag of Vendetta Prospecting's Pirates Booty and have a high seas battle to see which one of these bags is the better deal. They're pretty close in price and they both guarantee a 1/4 gram of gold. So let's just flash up the descriptions, go to the overhead, and check out these bags a little bit closer. As you saw, good descriptions on both bags. They both tell you that there's a 1/4 gram of gold in them and that you'll find various gems or silver in them. But the Vendetta does go further. It tells you that this is 2 pounds of material, while the RJ's Paydirt does not tell you a weight on the bag. And the Vendetta also tells you that this is Arizona material and that it should be a little bit difficult and might have some organics in it. Now let's just weigh these up to see if they are the stated weight, which is only the Vendetta at 2 pounds, and it passes at 2 pounds, 10 ounces. And we're gonna weigh up the RJs just to see how much material we're going to be panning out. And we got 1 pound, 15.8 ounces, so right around 2 pounds as well. And we're gonna open these up, check them out a little bit closer. I will rinse these out before the end of the video to make sure there's no gold captured in them that might change the ROI. And speaking of ROIs, I will include any silver I find in the final ROIs because the descriptions do state you might find silver. Again, we'll rinse this one out. So definitely just off of opening them up, there is a lot more bigger material in the Vendetta, and I do see some coins, a pearl, some other things, and RJ's. And you are guaranteed a coin in the RJ's. There's no mention of coins. Nice big quartz, some copper. So there we go. I'm not going to check it for magnetite until after I classify it because it'll just be too difficult right now. So let's just go classify this down and be right back. Okay, all done classifying, and I only broke it down to +10 and -10, and this is the RJ's and this is the Vendetta. We're going to just pan it all out, -10 and everything, to make the video a little bit shorter. Now for the +10 on the RJ's, there are some things in here, some coins and stuff, but it doesn't really look like too much to pick out. We'll have to see when we're actually doing it. While with the Vendetta, pretty much everything in here can be picked out. There's going to be very little material left after we're done picking. So pretty cool with that. And for the material, they're probably about the same amount. And we're going to check them, see if there's any magnetite in these. Maybe see how difficult it's going to be. So a little bit in there. Check out the Vendetta. Yeah, definitely a lot in the Vendetta there. Now, I'm probably not going to pick anything out of the -10 material unless it's silver. If there's little bitty gems or anything else like that, I'm just going to pan them out. I will only retain any silver I find in the -10 because, again, that will be counted towards the ROI at the end of this battle. But first, we're going to go to the panning station and we're going to be doing some picking. We'll start with the RJ's, then we're going to pick out the Vendetta, and then we're going to pan them both out and see what we find in both bags. Well, finished picking and panning through both bags of Paydirt, and I have to say both of those were extremely difficult and for different reasons, but we'll get into that in a minute. For right now, let's show you what I found in both bags. On the left is the RJ's Paydirt, and I found some polished stones, gems, things like that with no real value. I found some coins. These coins are all from the 30s and 70s, and they're foreign coins. And again, probably no real value. A couple pieces of copper, a pearl, and what looks like 2 small pieces of 8, and a foreign coin that does generally look very, very old and is definitely in the pirate theme. For the vendetta prospecting, a lot, and I mean a lot of gems, polished, garnets, peacock ore, copper, quartz, and things like that. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. I actually had to pay my son to pick all of these out because I was just not going to do it. But now let's get to what we really want to see, and that's the gold and silver I recovered. In the RJ's Paydirt, I found a nice little pile of gold. And again, these were only guaranteed a 1/4 gram of gold, so I didn't expect a ton. And a nice pile of silver. While in the vendetta bag, again, a nice little pile of gold. None of these were picked out. I had to actually pan them out. And a really nice pile of silver. So let's turn the scale back on, since it decided to turn off while I was talking. Now, both bags were guaranteed a 1/4 gram of gold, and let's start with the RJ's, weigh it up, see if we got that 1/4 gram. .285 grams. All right, put this one over here. And we're going to weigh up the vendetta gold, and then we will do the silver. .310 grams. And now the silver from RJ's Paydirt. .125 grams, or actually 6.120 grams. Now, let's do the vendetta. Vendetta prospecting. Silver. .250 grams. So pretty close amounts from both bags, but we'll have to find out in a minute what the ROIs were and who won this battle. But first, let me talk about just how difficult these bags of Paydirt were. Now, for both of these bags of Paydirt, they were extremely difficult to go through, but for different reasons. For the RJ's Paydirt, the most difficult thing was actually the panning. The silver is on the very small size. A lot of it is actually -40. And trying to get -40 gold out of a lot of silver is really, really difficult. And it is really hard to pan out black sands from crystallized silver. It tends to want to stick to it and get caught in all the nooks and crannies. So it's extremely difficult Paydirt to pan out. While for the vendetta prospecting bag, the picking was the difficult part. There is just so much there to pick out. You're going to be there for an extremely long time just picking. While the panning was actually pretty easy. Most of the silver from the vendetta Paydirt was on the larger size, +20, +10. So it was fairly easy to just pick the gold out and then pan the silver. You will obviously still probably have some black sands in it, which is difficult. But the big challenge with it was just the amount of picking you were going to have to do. So for both bags, for a beginner panner, I would give this a hard, and for an advanced panner, I would give it a hard as well. And for an expert panner, this is probably going to be medium Paydirt to go through. Both of these bags are difficult. You're going to be spending a long amount of time getting all the gold, silver, gems, copper out of these bags. All right, finished calculating my ROIs, writing up my reviews, and let's see who won this battle. Now, I went through 2 bags of Paydirt, a Pirate's Treasure bag from RJ's Paydirt, and a Treasure Booty bag from Vendetta Prospecting. Now, for the RJ's Paydirt, it cost $45 plus $5 shipping for a grand total of $50. While for the Vendetta Prospecting, it cost $42, free shipping, grand total $42. Now, both bags were guaranteed a 1/4 gram of gold, and the RJ's was guaranteed 5 grams of silver. Now, in the RJ's bag, I recovered 0.285 grams of gold, and gold spot was $59.99 on the day that this was ordered by my secret shopper, making the gold worth $17.10. Now, the silver I recovered 6.120 grams, and its spot was 70 cents on the day of order, making the silver worth $4.28, giving me a grand total of $21.38 from RJ's Paydirt, which gave me an ROI of 42.76%, or on my scale, a 4.3. For the Vendetta Prospecting bag, I recovered 0.31 grams of gold. Same spot of $59.99 made that gold worth $18.60. Silver, I recovered 7.25 grams. There was no guarantee on the amount of silver you would find. He does state it in the description, but there was no guarantee. And that non-guaranteed 7.25 grams was worth $5.07, making the grand total from Vendetta Prospecting $23.67, giving me an ROI of 56.36%, or on my scale, a 5.6. Now, I think right about now is the time that I throw in a huge disclaimer. This is probably the hardest battle I've ever done for an ROI standpoint, because I probably missed, in fact, I know I missed some silver from both bags, because crystalline silver tends to break apart, especially when it's not handled gently like the mail service does when it's in a bag of Paydirt. So there was some really, really fine silver that I know I missed. I don't know if it would change the ROI or not, but I did miss some silver. And another thing is the gems, the copper, things like that. Some of those things might actually have some value, which would have changed the ROI. Especially for the RJ's Paydirt, some of those coins, the pieces of 8, maybe that old coin, they might have drastically changed the ROI. So please take all these ROIs with a grain of salt, because they are not set in stone. And your bag might be vastly different. You might not find some little pieces of 8. You might just find some European coins from the 1930s and 70s. I don't know. So again, this is a disclaimer that the ROIs you get might be vastly different. This is just my experience and how I'm going to handle this battle from 2 bags that I had secret shoppers purchase for me. And now back to the numbers and the review. For fun factor, on the RJ's Paydirt, I'm actually going to bump it up from the 4.3 to a 5.3 because I really like the fact that they added in the old coins. In fact, in my original review on Vendetta's Prospecting's Pirate's Booty bag, a month or 2 ago, I actually complained that I thought it should have some old coins in it or something. And this bag did. So for that reason, I am going to bump this bag of Paydirt up to a 5.3 on the fun factor. While with the Vendetta Prospecting, I'm going to leave it the exact same as the ROI at a 5.6. And now in both of these bags, your fun factor might be a lot higher than mine. I'm typically not a fan of picking out stuff. I just like the gold. But if you're really into pirate bags of Paydirt, both of these bags would probably be a 10 for you. The Vendetta has a ton of material to pick out, and the RJ's Paydirt has some really unique stuff in it. So you're probably going to vote a 10. I'm leaving them at a 4.3 and a 5.6 though. Even with the bump up on fun factor for RJ's Paydirt, Vendetta Prospecting is still going to win not only the ROI, but the fun factor. For Paydirt description, RJ's is going to get a 6, while Vendetta is going to get a 10 and the win. For quantity and packaging, RJ's Paydirt is going to get a 7. 5 for quantity, and a 9 for packaging. Since in his description he doesn't state how much material he's getting the 5 standard for quantity. While Vendetta Prospecting is getting a 9, 10 for quantity because it was over the stated amount, and an 8 for packaging, giving him a total score of 9, and yet again, and another win. And lastly, for customer service and shipping, both companies are getting a 10. They both replied to emails very quickly, and they both shipped out incredibly fast as well. So they're both getting a 10 and a tie, giving RJ's Paydirt a total score of 6.5, while Vendetta Prospecting is getting a total score of 8.0 and the win for this battle. So would I order either one of these bags of Paydirt or both of them again? Personally, probably not. As I've stated many times in many of my videos, I am not a huge fan of panning out silver. I don't like picking stuff out of my Paydirt unless it's big gold nuggets. I'm just not into these types of bags. But if you like gem Paydirt bags, then you probably would enjoy both of these bags. I think they were really good. You're not going to get huge ROIs on these because a lot of the money that's not spent on gold is spent on copper, silver, and gems. So it really depends on what you like. Me personally, I probably wouldn't, but if I did, it would probably be the Vendetta Prospecting bag, just because there was so much to pick out. It actually took me a very, very long time for my son to pick them out because that's who I paid to do it. But I will also point out that the RJ's Paydirt dropped its price by $5 about 2 weeks after my secret shopper ordered this bag of Paydirt. So my ROI would have actually jumped up to right around 47.5% as opposed to the 42%. So it is a little bit better of a bag now. And I also still really like the fact that he put in that really old coin. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Happy panning. And if you're not already a subscriber, think about hitting that subscribe button below.